remember, you know, the more these gays in the comments turn me against you guys in the UFC and other fighters, the more I'm going to bring up this shirt. You know, I'm Heru, the top martial artist, and you're a bunch of bitches that are covertly drugging me. Okay? The more I feel I'm given my respect, the more I won't rub that in, and I'll use this shirt. So I have ways to fight back your tactics and make what you're doing blow up in your face. I'm trying to point that out for a long time. Fight for honor and all that is right. So whether or not you want your family members, your friends, your ethnic groups, your religious groups, your political groups, your institutions, your military groups, your law enforcement groups, you know, your students to see this shirt or the shirt I've shown you in the past, you know, I just showed you before. You know, it's really up to you. And also I'd like to touch on, you know, there's different warriors from different groups. I've given you my opinion about who has the highest level of proficiency, what body types I believe are the best for actual combat. Now, there are also, you know, big body types that, you know, people fight in a way that accommodate their body type. And if a person does not have a high level of martial arts excellence, they almost certainly will not be able to overcome a big, strong guy, you know, one way or another. Sometimes it does happen, but for the most part it doesn't. And then, you know, you had your Native Americans, you know, the people who are now, a lot of them are now Hispanic. You know, they use weapons, different Aztec weapons. You know, you can look it up on the internet, on YouTube. They have, you know, who's the greatest warrior of all time, or, you know, the greatest warrior challenge or something. Some history type channel type show. And, you know, the world's deadliest warrior, or the deadliest warrior or something, right? And, you know, you can kind of see kind of the weapons they use, you know. Some have more ranged weapons, such as tomahawks, short range weapons, bows and arrows, long range weapons, kind of javelin type weapons, what have you. There are different type of knives, such as this one. It's a lot more cumbersome than the one that I usually use. Okay. You can tell this one's a lot more cumbersome. It's a lot heavier, you know. But at the same time, it's a lot more threatening. And you consider those things in combat. Okay, I think that's all I really wanted to speak on. Okay, so when you have this kind of military knife, I'm fighting someone in the military now. I quickly address my enemies. You know, I also have the option to So really, one thing I like to work on is dexterity. I have a lot of different exercises for that. And one thing I've seen these trolls in the comments do is they've said, well, you're hitting the air. I mean, that's probably the most ignorant argument I've ever heard from anyone ever. Hitting the air. You know, and then they say, well, why don't you have any videos actually fighting someone? And I go over this over and over again, you know. The traditional way to compete is sparring, because it shows your combat skills. All great martial artists know that martial arts isn't about getting somebody to tap out in a sports competition, okay? Martial arts is about combat and killing people. So when you're a great martial artist such as myself, you don't train to knock somebody down or knock somebody out, twist one of their arms or legs and get them to tap out. You train to kill somebody. And if somebody gets into my head that they intend to cause me great bodily harm, then I'm going to kill them. You understand me? They're going to try to make that move, you know? They're like, they come swing. You know? And you can't calculate that in a sports competition like the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Just because something uses martial arts doesn't automatically mean it is the highest level of martial art competition. There are demonstrations. There are competitions about the form. You know, we'll see people doing forms and katas and series of movements. And who does it the best wins the competition. I had to close my fucking window. I cannot fucking breathe in this month. It's contributing to, my exhaustion. Anyway. Some chemicals in the air. Anyway, so, yeah. This, is a very silly misconception I see out there. Where, what the fuck is that smell, though? I think they're cooking something downstairs and there's chemicals in the room. Anyway, this is a very silly misconception, okay? There's really nothing to compare it to, It's really, you could compare it to, these kids, why don't you go on the playground and wrestle with the fucking high school kids, Because it's not really a fair match. I mean, can you really imagine one of those UFC guys trying to take me on in a street fight? It'd be a fucking rap, They're like, trying to take me down, or they're trying to, knuckle up to me, That's it. They're stabbing the neck, hitting stuff, and that's it, dead. Because they've trained to perform a good show. They trained for sports entertainment. Really, it's sports entertainment. People pay to be entertained. There's not much entertainment in a fucking 5-second match where they're, I've killed my enemy, I'm like this. Then they're down on the ground all bloody, stabbed, bleeding from their nose, and broken nose, And then I'm just like, look, it's a wrap for you, buddy. Where's the entertainment in that? They've done it in a way that draws it out. They've done it in a way that includes wrestling, which is something Europeans have been cultivating in official competitions for a long time. Of course, there's other ethnicities have done it, but this is all for entertainment. It's a show, okay? The top form of martial arts competition, and it's been like this for thousands of years, and hundreds of years since Shaolin Kung Fu, is sparring. You'll see Shaolin monks sparring. Do you see Shaolin monks fighting in a UFC type of competition? Almost never, And when you look at how the Shaolin guys, they perform with the swords and the weapon, the spears and, the different butterfly knives and the different weapons they use, you'd be an idiot to think that, well, these guys who train in the UFC, they're just as ready for ancient combat as these Shaolin monks. It's simply not the case, okay? And my argument has never been I'm the best at ancient warfare. But with my skill set, had I applied it toward weapons in ancient warfare, perhaps I would have been. But as it stands, I'm the best at modern day combat arts, modern day, applicable, combat arts, self-defense, and sparring. And this is the highest level of martial arts achievement without, including ancient warfare techniques such as archery and, spear and swordplay, things that I'm pretty good at nevertheless. I could compete with these Shaolin monk guys in that arena. It's just not what I've specialized. I've specialized in what I believe is the most relevant part of martial arts, And so when I'm applying different moves, they're applying their punches and kicks with the intention of knocking somebody out or the intention of, using it to set themselves up for a takedown or something, that is not going to help them in a street fight against someone like me, because I'm ready to take it to the next level. Even if they say, you know what, I'm going to think like him and I'm going to fight to kill, they're still at a disadvantage, Well, another way to look at it is two people with a gun, and one of them, has been training just to gun butt people different ways, okay? The other one's just, And he's a good shot. He's quick, boom. You know, he's good, boom. And he's quick draw. He knows all the little special forces technique. Da 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 da. You know, quick reload. Da 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 da. And he's very accurate, right? Much, shoot a whole clip in no time. You know, and a little circle. You know, whatever you call it. You know, on the target, right? You know, a close grouping on the target. Okay, it's like, what the fuck you think is gonna happen? Chances are the guy who's trained to kill a motherfucker is gonna fucking win in a situation which requires killing a motherfucker. And then I refuse to think that somehow people who train martial arts to entertain are somehow a superior martial artist to someone who trains it for what it's actually meant to do. That is preposterous, that is stupid, that is outlandish, that is fucking insane, and it comes from a mediocre, feeble-minded fuck and his pathetic, pitiful argument. You know, think about it. Now, this is the problem here. There's a lot of effeminate queers in the comments who know that this pisses me off. There's a lot of shrinks. The New World Order knows that if they make me mad, then I'm going to talk about this in videos instead of talking about them. I don't want to release 15, 20 videos at once because then my viewers aren't going to want to watch them all. So that gives them a little bit more breathing room, you know, as opposed to me focusing on them. So what I say to all these UFC fans, all these UFC fighters, don't just be mad at me. You know, go ahead and be mad at me for exposing this truth. But don't just be mad at me. Also be mad at them. Realize I would not go over this time and time again if it wasn't for a bunch of effeminate weaklings in the comments. Next time you see gay people show up, you know, at the mall, I want you to think about how they've been treating me. Next time you see feminists, next time you see atheists, I want you to think about how they wanted me to take my anger out on you, how they wanted me to go fight with you when they are the ones pitting us against each other. Spiritual bottom feeders, little Satanists who are meddling in the background, secret societies. Okay? I want you to think about that. You know, don't be mad at me, only don't forget who fucking made it like this. And don't forget that there are traitor martial artists who are helping them too. I know not everyone in the UFC is in on this. Not everyone at the gyms around this area are in on this. Some of them are. You know? These are the idiots who keep going back to, well, why don't you compete? Why don't you compete? Why don't I dance like a fucking ballerina? Why don't I join the WWF? Why don't I go on TV and flex? You know? What the fuck you do? Why don't I, be a gymnastics teacher? Is all that shit's irrelevant. I'm not talking bitch shit. I'm not talking entertainment. I'm talking killing people. Okay? And the skills that you need to do it. Transferable skills. Martial art techniques that bring your enemy to his grave, to his doom. Okay? Period. With no limits. This, I could jab my thumb into your fucking eye. I could rip out your fucking trachea. Things of this nature. Growing strikes. Things that you're not allowed to do in the UFC. Things that people who train to kill will take advantage of. Okay? Death. Miserable pain. On the ground, twitching in agony, bleeding profusely, bleeding excessively. People don't understand these things. Traumatic brain injury, death by bludgeoning, death by cutting, slicing, stabbing, sticking, penetration, and I'm not talking sexual penetration, I'm talking death. Autopsies, motherfucker. Coroners, motherfucker. Crime scene investigators, motherfucker. Okay? We're not talking about gunplay. We are talking martial arts. And when it comes to fighting for honor and bringing your opponent death, I am the best. I am the top martial artist, and they hide. And the moment any of you sissies think about saying anything otherwise, just remember, I have a choice. Whether I can show this shirt over and over again, or whether I will show this shirt over and over again. And never forget, there are atheists, homosexuals, LGBT, feminists, Satanists, the worst criminals, racists, and Satanists who are feeding into this And they're the reason why I'm probably going to be showing this shirt a lot in the future. Okay? Never forget to be angry at them as well. Thank you.